Right then, okay, here we go. So, this week we're going to be having a look at Warhammer Imperium Issue 2. I have had a flick through this this time just to have a look. Obviously we opened this in the last video. So this is what you'll get. You might get it on the big format sheet or the small format sheet, depending on the store you get it from and their footprint. So this is it, Warhammer Imperium Issue 2. A few things just to talk about before we get into the issue. First off, I said it at the end of the last video, let me say it up front here. This is a trial. If you're still wandering around the shops going, why can't I find it, Hachette, as a Partworks company, as a standard process, release 4 issues of any Partworks, anything they do, in a local area to see what the uptake is. Now, I speak with Hachette directly, I speak to their marketing manager, and I get a few more extra details so I know what's going off. Hachette do, if you ring them and go, what's going off with this, the customer service will pretend we don't know anything about a trial, it's real, and that sort of thing. But they seem to have got the message this time, because they've actually gone out and announced to people that this was a trial run. And if you try and subscribe now on the website, they've actually had a record-breaking number of subscribers to this magazine, more than they've ever known, apparently in Partworks, and it's not even out yet. So it's been subscribed to across the country. Even though it's only released, I think it was sort of Southampton and Norwich sort of area, are the 2 places with stores that actually had them. So this isn't out yet. This was released in a trial area, but just because, you know, we're on top of it and the internet exists, we all know about it. So again, so many people have subscribed that within 5 days of the launch of issue 1, they emailed everyone to say, yep, we're going full production. I mean, I don't think there was any doubt anyway, but they've said we're going full production, and this will be released at the end of summer, which, as we suspected, and a few people we've spoken to, I spoke to Michael from the Edge of Empire podcast, and he's, you know, quite aware of Partworks magazines and things, and you may know that Partworks magazines only released twice a year, sort of January, February, and then towards the end of the year, sort of July, August time. And this is good. They've announced, Hachette have said that this will come late summer. So I'd expect this to be coming out in August, which is spot on for when Mortal Realms is due to end, sort of mid-August, early mid-August, and then, you know, smack bang straight into this one. So hopefully this time there's no crossover, and we've got the issue. So let's dive in. I'm just going to stick the issue out the way straight away, and have a look at the models, what you get. So first off, because it's rolled out, you get this terrible brush. It's a horrible thing, but you know, it's a free brush, and if it's your first ever brush, it's fine. Just, you're not going to get great results out of this. Like the end doesn't hold together. I mean, it forks anyway. It's got some water on it, but it forks as you trying to paint. It's not the nicest thing. Can I get that in focus? Can I? Come on. No, I can't, but I'll work on my camera, I'll start trying to focus things, but it's not a great brush, it really isn't, but it'll do. If you've subscribed, when you get the actual magazine, I think the first issue comes with some extras, but if you are going to invest, if you do want better quality, I'd get a half decent set of brushes straight away. If you're brand new, don't go like Kalinsky Sable, just something from Games Workshop will do, as a decent set of starter brushes. You want a good base coat brush, and a couple of sort of pointy detail brushes. But this thing's horrible. Like, use it to start with. It is a starter brush, but I only use these now for really mixing paints and things. And yay, we've got a paint this time. So Rune Lord Brass, very commonly used on the new Necrons. They're no longer just silver with a black wash. So we've started getting some brassy tones in there as well, which makes them quite interesting. And then you get your models, which is these 3 guys. And these were previously exclusive to the paint set, so you'd have to buy the paint set for the Necrons just to get these 3 warriors. You can't actually make a squad, as far as I'm aware, out of 3 warriors, but you know, it was a paint set, it was a practice paint set. So value wise, I mean, it's not amazing, it's not the best. I mean, if you like these 3 models, they're 3 exclusive models, and they are push fit, so they're easy to put together. Just snip them off, Get some decent cutters. If you want some, I use these ones by DSPIAE, and these have an absolutely beautiful close cut to your models. But yeah, just snip the models off, and then because they're easy build, it means these you get these posts and pits. So in there, you can just take the front of the chest, put them in there, and then push it together. So nice and easy models to build with these ones. And then the bases, which have got these hexagonal depressions in them, so that, again, you can put them on there and it is just slot to fit. And boom. And then the best thing about these, I know these push fit get a lot of hate, but honestly I love them because it means if I want to paint in sub-assemblies or something like that, or if I want to do my bases later, I can put it on the base, paint it up, and then pop it off the base. I can then do a design on the base and then pop him back on, and it lets me separate down the elements, and then you just use a weathering powder or something to join the two together. So again, not amazing in value. I know this is a cheaper issue than the rest of the run, but it is 3 semi-exclusive models, and it's a great place to start. So you know, I wouldn't go running for these to grab them off the shelves. If you want in just extra models, but again, it's if you're into the hobby, then you know it's 3 extra things. One thing we'll look at, in fact we'll go into that in a minute, is the painting side of things. So obviously they cover this, and I will use that brush. So let's have a look at the magazine. What do we get this week? So here we go. So nice artwork. I do love that they use the Games Workshop-y artwork on all of these, which is really great. Necron Warriors tells you all about them, which is great. Is it Ghost Flayers, or what's the other one? Blasters or Flayers? These are the Flayers. So that's the long barrel, and then you can get the double barrel in the larger kit. Again, I'll skip over these, but it just talks about I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, the Dynasty, the Ultramarines, and there's not really much. I mean, it's all about collect, read, build, paint, play. There's not much reading this week. There's a thing there for your battle record, write down information about your Necron Warrior, unit name. Okay, so you can actually set things up. So that's a nice little interactive part of it. A couple of bits there about the thing. So that's your whole read section. There's 4 pages, and then you get straight into build, which it's easy enough, but if you're new, then you probably want to look at this. Now, these Necron Warriors, if these are anything like the Warriors in the Indomitus and Starter Edition boxes, they're a pain to put together. This is really the preferred way. What I tend to do is I'll put the arm into the gun first, then line them up, try and press them in. It looks like that presses into there, but it kind of doesn't great. And then try and wedge this into the gap to push it together. They're not the best things for putting together, honestly. For beginners, getting people started, these Necrons are not fun. They really aren't. So again, how to build all 3 of these guys, and then our first guide on how to paint. So it's really good this time because it takes you through getting things like the water pot. Hey, I've got about 4 of them. They're fantastic. I'll probably get another one by the end of this subscription. Opening your paints, what to do. Personally, I mean, I know you get them like this, but I've put all my paints in dropper bottles just because it's a lot easier to manage afterwards, and they don't dry as much. But yeah, how to open your paint. So this is pretty good actually, like how to use a palette. There's the Games Workshop paper palettes with it's just glossy paper. Personally, I'm not a fan of them. Something plastic's better, like these old baggies, and just put a bit of paint on there. If you want, you can get into a wet palette. I've got guides on the site on how to do that, but always, this is handy, always have a little bit of tissue, because paper towels, one of the most unused things. Get some paint on your brush, either the back of your hand or a paper towel, just to wipe off the excess. Really key. And then yeah, we're getting into painting it. Now these seem like there's a lot of steps here for paint it brass. But what have we got here? So Runelord Brass. Oh, it is. Oh, right, fair enough. Sorry, I didn't notice that. So it is showing us how to paint our warriors we've just got, and the Warden from last week. So I think the thing to kind of talk about here when it comes to painting is how they have you do it. So I'm just going to crack out some of this Runelord Brass and show you, because one thing they don't have in this magazine, or don't really mention, which is a bit daft, a slight product placement there with my Artis Opus brushes. So here's some Runelord Brass. Put it on a palette, add some water. get it to a nice smooth consistency. You want it smooth is the key. So as you put it down, it's not sort of building up on the edges and going chunky. So what they'll want you to do is basically kind of follow this guide. I wish this would focus. And let me see if I can get that in focus actually. Come on. There we go. Right, so this kind of guide here, let me bring some light in as well. There we are. So this kind of guide here, it has you painting it without any primer on it. And as you can see, you know, these paints are generally, I mean, you get this from metallics anyway, they're very transparent, and it's not the best. So, you know, just get some paint on there and do that. But again, you're gonna need 3, 4, 5 coats of that. It is a bit of a nightmare. So what I've done, I've just grabbed a model that I'm in the middle of, one of these old Space Marine heroes, guys. Let's get this chap in focus, come on. Right, there you are. So forgive the orange, but that's basically got black primer on it. And then what I'm gonna do with this guy is, again, just take that, and you'll notice straight away that the paint just goes on so much better. I mean, it's still got some transparency to it, but because of the black undercoat, it shows up a lot more uniform. So you get a lot more of that shine. And if you sort of like the bits where you can see through it, it's a lot more forgiving because it's not stark grey plastic underneath. So let's just smooth that out. So you do get a more consistent coat. And the other good thing about primer is primer tends to be a lot more hard wearing. Let's try and do a comparison side by side. So I know you get, that's a lot shinier, you'll find that as well. So a gloss base on a metallic will end up with a very shiny result, whereas a matte base will dull the result quite a bit. I'll try and get them back in focus. But what you'll end up with is, with the primer, you'll end up with a much better adherence to the model than you would on the than you would without the primer. So that's something to take to put in mind. Now, when it comes to primer, you can get Games Workshop stuff. I think it's about 11, 12, 13 quid a can for their cans. You can get something like Rust-Oleum, like any primer will do, but honestly, they've never talked about it in any of these magazines. I don't know if I've skipped over it here. No, there's no mention of primer at all. But if you're a new modeler, don't get me wrong, primer's not necessary. Some of the best painters in the world don't use primer because it's just another layer between detail and end result. But if you're a beginner especially, primer, a black primer, because black hides imperfections, because the black primer becomes shadows. If you miss anywhere, just naturally, it kind of makes your models look instantly better. So if you haven't got primer, I highly recommend primer. You can get the spray cans. One of the things I'm gonna, I've actually turned this on in the box there. I've just turned it off. Oh no, it's back on. One of the things I'm gonna be looking at, I'll try and turn this off. There we go. Are these are, there you go. So I've got these. These are the 2 cheapest airbrushes I could find on Amazon. This thing, I found both of them come under multiple brands. It's one of them things where people are obviously buying them from China, and these guys have called it Display for Top, and these haven't even bothered with the brand name. But you'll find them various. This was £40. This was £40. They're both airbrushes. I'm going to try them out. But a can of one of these and some airbrush primer will set you back probably less than 4 cans of Citadel spray paint and last you for hundreds of models as opposed to maybe 20 or 30. So I'm going to have a look at these in a couple of weeks. But if you're thinking of investing in airbrushing somewhere like that, you know, to start, it's not, you know, the best of airbrushing certainly, but it is somewhere to start on the beginning of your career. So, but yeah, here we go. So you're going through the how to paint, which is really good. You can do it this way. Personally, I'd prefer to put a primer on it first and then do 2 thin coats rather than try and do 3 coats of this, but it does look shiny. But yeah, two thin coats, nod to Duncan there. And then, yeah, so there you go. You've got your first stage of painting complete. So that's your Royal Warden from the first issue, and these three guys. Try and keep up with it. It's going to get harder as you go through, trying to keep up with all these colours. So let's have a look what mission we've got. So Necron Warriors versus the Primaris Lieutenant. It's probably quite even. Okay, so rules and setup. Before you begin, so this, I think, have we got that map? Did that come last week? Is that this? Yep, that's this from last week. So there you go. So you get this in issue 1. So the Primaris Lieutenant starts on marker B, and then you've got D, the gap, and E, where you set up your Necron Warriors. Let's have a look. Before you begin playing, read through the information, unfold the battle map, lay it out, yeah, blah, 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 blah. The edge of the battle map, all right, so basically this is the Necrons need to escape. I don't think this is going to be too difficult. Don't bother shooting at the Space Marine, just leg it. Well, I suppose you could shoot at the end of the phase, but I wouldn't worry about it unless he gets some incredible rolls. Just stay away from him and run off the edge of the battlefield. That doesn't look like it's going to be too hard, but again, these early issues are just getting used to the movement and stuff. So turn 1. Okay, so it is literally now walking you through the turns. Okay, fine. Necrons continued. Okay, so it is literally walking you through it. So it is turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, but then you can play this on your own. And the point is, you need to just get off that edge. It doesn't seem like too much of a difficult objective for the Space Marines, but you can always change this up. See if it's a case of wipe out the Space Marine or something like that, or he's got to take all 3 of them out and you've got to stay on the battlefield. I don't know, you can play around with it. But that's it. So that's the end of issue 2. So again, pretty good stuff. Right up, we've got 3 extra models. We can obviously do the extra battle, and now we're finally getting into painting, and painting's kind of more my thing than the playing, which is why I spent a bit more time on talking about the painting and stuff. And then the next issue, we've got these guys, which are the Macragge Blue guys. What am I saying? The Ultramarines from the Space Marine paint set, and then you get Macragge Blue. So next week you're going to be painting these guys and your previous lieutenant with the Macragge Blue, probably all over. And then finally, issue 4, we've got the awesome Scorpec Destroyers. These are about, I think they're £30 or £35 online. So to get them and Lead Belcher for $8.99, if you can find this issue, go and grab it. Obviously, for those of you who have subscribed, they'll have to wait, but when these do land on the shelves, that's incredible value, that issue, for some amazing models. So that's it. There we go, guys. So have I covered everything? Said at the front it was a trial. It's gone to full production, so that means by the end of summer. Have a look on the website, check out fohammer.com. We've covered this to the nth degree. We've done a breakdown of what's upcoming in the issues, and we'll update that as we know them. That's the 1 to 80 issue. We did an announcement of 1 to 4. We've done the breakdown of the value, so the entire army box. I think that's, where is it? It's on here. So all of this. We've worked out what these models are, and we've done a breakdown of the value. We've worked out roughly the individual points cost for each model, and then we've provided a total. So we haven't done the this is worth that and that's worth that, because I think we'd get our hands slapped. But yeah, we've done a full breakdown of the points and what each arm is worth. So I think, if I'm right, we're looking like 5,000 points, like just over 2,000 Space Marines, just over 2,000 Necrons, and then an extra 1,000-ish between the sisters and the AdMech. So that's what we're getting there, guys. So let me know in the comments, let me know what you think. What I really want to know is the people who are buying this, I want to get an idea of our audience. So who out there is buying it just to get the cheap models? Who is buying it because, oh, I've wanted to get into Warhammer for a long time and this isn't my introduction? And who, like me, is just addicted to buying plastic models, even though they sit on your shelf unpainted? Let me know in the comments. Right, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Thanks for watching. Check out fohammer.com. And for now, Fohammer out.